Hey, I'm Dalton with Performx Physical Therapy, and these are the exercises that we went over in our low back pain workshop, looking at that movement complex of the hip and the movement restrictions we see lead to some of the more common cases of low back pain that we see. That first exercise that we did was improving how the joint moves into hip flexion, and so we're going to use a banded mobilization for that. So we're going to step inside of a medium or heavy band, put it high in your hip, and walk out, put a bunch of tension on it, and we're going to split stance the banded legs forward. From here, we're going to bend down, get as low as you can, toes, floor, shins, wherever you get to is fine. Once we come down here, we're going to bend into our sprinter stance. We're going to straighten the knees, and we're going to try to twist and jack the hip up towards the ceiling. If you've done elephant walks before, it's that same movement pattern. So we're going to bend the knees, straighten that, try to get the knee all the way locked out, and we're going to twist and turn that hip up towards the ceiling. Hold, and we're going to spend about a minute passing in and out, trying to get that knee as straight as we can, working it all the way to the ceiling. We should get a big calf stretch, big hamstring stretch, and if we're doing it right, we should feel kind of a general hip tension that builds up a pressure or a stretch in that hip. That's what we're going for. To address the soft tissue restriction, a lot of time bringing the hip up in front of us into flexion. The glutes muscles, they do the opposite. They pull the leg back. So if these are tight or if there's any restrictions back here, it can limit this movement. So we can use a trigger point ball, lacrosse ball, anything in this back glute area to get this to loosen off. So we'll start right on the hip bone, come right underneath it, up in that high glute, get pressure on it. What we're gonna do is we're gonna roll across the lacrosse ball 10 times, looking for anywhere that's sensitive. When we find that sensitive spot, we're gonna hold on it. We're gonna bring that hip all the way up into flexion, high as we can, and then we're gonna kick it all the way straight, lock it out. And we're gonna pass through this 10 times. After 10, we're gonna go a little bit further out to the side of the hip. So we're gonna come out about where you put your hand in your back pocket. So right in that area. Same process, we're gonna roll across it 10 times, and then we're gonna bring the hip up and kick out 10 times. Working anywhere that's sensitive, doesn't feel very good, it's kind of gritty under there, that's what we're after. After the soft tissue work, we like to load the hip into those flexion positions. Those two movements should open up the hip flexion. Now we ask the muscles to work there to keep it more permanent. So we're gonna come down into our lunge position, 90-90, so 90 at the knees, front and back. From here, what we wanna do is try and lift this front leg up and as high of hip flexion as we can get it. And we're gonna hold here for a full minute. Keep driving the knee up, try to get it to your chest. And we should get a lot of hip flexor loading, and we're gonna hold here. If you can, we can get rid of the balance and do it without our hands. The second hip loaded position, we stay in that 90-90 lunge position. From here, we're gonna squeeze the glutes, tuck the hips under, so the cat position in yoga. So if we're doing this cat-cow, get all the extension out of the back, tuck the hips under, and we're gonna lift that back knee, and we're gonna pause, and we're gonna hold this position for a full minute, keeping that knee hovered on the ground as close as we can. Thank you so much for coming to the workshop and checking out these exercises. Remember, these are the tools that start the process in order to make a longer term change. They'll help open up your range of movement like we want, and then we want to strengthen and make that long-term change to that range of movement. So it's that first step in the process. If you're struggling with any of these movements or restrictions, come and visit us. We can help you out and show you exactly what you need to do to improve it.